The wind, oh my God, the wind is howling. It's like a beast has been unleashed upon the land. I can feel it tearing through the air, whipping everything in its path. Just look at those trees. They're bending like they could snap at any moment. This is not your average storm, folks. This is the beginning of something much more dangerous. The sky is darkening, the clouds are swirling, and the sound, it's a deafening roar, like a freight train barreling straight towards us. This is it, the calm before the storm has passed. Brace yourselves, because the worst is yet to come. The wind is relentless, howling at an almost unbelievable speed of 120 kilometers per hour. It's as if the entire world has been thrown into chaos. Debris is being lifted and hurled through the air like missiles. Trash cans, signs, even pieces of furniture are being swept away without mercy. Trees are straining under the force, their trunks bending dangerously before cracking and collapsing to the ground with a deafening thud. The power is beyond imagination. Roofs are being ripped off houses, shingles and sheets of metal spinning away like they weigh nothing. This is pure destruction, a force of nature that can't be stopped. The air is filled with the sound of everything being torn apart, a storm so fierce it leaves nothing untouched. If you thought the wind was intense, brace yourselves for the next stage of this storm, an overwhelming deluge of rain that has now taken center stage. The downpour has begun, and it's not just heavy, it's a torrential river of water cascading from the sky. The rain is coming down so hard, so fast, it feels like the heavens themselves have opened up in a full-scale assault. The intensity is beyond anything we've seen in years. Rainfall rates are off the charts, and the sheer volume is staggering. Streets that were barely passable moments ago are now turning into swollen rivers, with water rushing along curbs and flooding sidewalks. It's like a waterfall has been unleashed over the city, and the force of it is relentless. The noise is deafening. A constant, thunderous roar of raindrops hammering down, drumming against rooftops, car hoods, and everything in between. It's a cacophony of nature's fury. Visibility is nearly zero, as the rain is so thick and dense that you can barely see a few feet in front of you. The sky is an oppressive, leaden gray, completely obscured by the endless sheets of rain, creating an atmosphere of utter gloom and desolation. It feels like night has fallen, even though it's still daytime. An unyielding, monochromatic shroud has enveloped everything. As the rain continues, the water levels are rising rapidly. Puddles have turned into mini lakes, and the flow of water is becoming increasingly violent. Cars are struggling to navigate the streets, their tires skimming over the water that seems to be rising by the minute. Trees that withstood the fierce winds are now in danger of being uprooted as the ground becomes oversaturated and unstable. The rain shows no signs of letting up. It's been hours now, and the relentless downpour continues unabated. The storm seems to have no end in sight, and the constant barrage of water is creating a sense of desperation. It's as if the entire atmosphere is holding its breath, waiting for the storm to finally exhaust itself. But for now, the rain persists, and its unyielding presence is a powerful reminder of nature's immense and unpredictable force. As if the relentless rain wasn't enough, now we're facing a nightmare of flooding that's unfolding before our eyes. The water from every direction is converging, overwhelming the city's drainage systems, which are now completely overloaded. What was once manageable runoff is now a surging torrent, with water levels rising dramatically from 50 centimeters to a full meter and climbing higher by the hour. The streets, once bustling with activity, have transformed into an enormous, swollen lake. Cars that were parked along the road are now completely submerged, their roofs barely visible above the surface. The entire cityscape has been swallowed by a sea of water, creating a scene straight out of a disaster movie. It's impossible to distinguish between roads and waterways. The boundaries have disappeared under a relentless blanket of liquid. All road traffic has come to a standstill, with vehicles trapped and immobilized. The only modes of transportation that can navigate this watery apocalypse are makeshift boats and rescue canoes. The heroic rescue teams are maneuvering through the flooded streets, their boats cutting through the murky waters, providing a vital lifeline for those stranded. It's a dramatic, urgent effort to reach people who are now isolated in their homes, surrounded by rising waters. To make matters worse, the influx from upstream is bringing with it a horrific blend of mud, silt, and waste. The once clear water is now a disgusting muddy mess, a nauseating cocktail of filth that has turned the floodwaters into a thick, opaque sludge. It's a grim reminder of how powerful and destructive nature can be, dragging along all sorts of contaminants and making the situation even more perilous for everyone involved. The scene is nothing short of chaotic, an entire city submerged, its daily life brought to a halt, and the relentless floodwaters continuing to rise. This is a true test of resilience, as the city braces itself against the overwhelming forces of nature. It's a sobering, dramatic spectacle that underscores the sheer power and unpredictability of our planet's weather systems. The floodwaters have wrought utter devastation across the city. Homes are inundated, with many completely submerged or left in ruins as the relentless surge continues. It's heartbreaking to witness. Entire neighborhoods are now unrecognizable, their structures compromised by the relentless deluge. Furniture, personal belongings, and precious keepsakes have been swept away by the raging waters, leaving a trail of destruction and loss in their wake. The streets, once bustling with activity, are now a labyrinth of floodwater, making it virtually impossible for vehicles to navigate. Traffic has ground to a halt as major roads are submerged, and commuters are left stranded. Public transport systems are in disarray, adding to the growing chaos. It's a nightmare scenario for thousands of residents trying to go about their daily lives. Shops closed, businesses shuttered, and homes cut off from essential services. The economic impact is staggering. The flood has wreaked havoc on countless vehicles. Hundreds of thousands of cars have been engulfed, drifting away and causing further disruption. Without official figures, the extent of the damage is still being assessed, but early estimates suggest a crippling financial loss in the billions of dollars. The sheer scale of the disaster is overwhelming, with the damage stretching across homes, infrastructure, and valuable assets. It's a sobering reality as the city grapples with the aftermath of this catastrophic flood. The recovery will be a monumental task, requiring extensive resources and time to rebuild and restore. The human cost is immeasurable, and the financial toll is profound. For now, the focus remains on emergency response and support for those affected, as the community comes together to face the monumental challenge of recovery and rebuild from this unprecedented disaster.